Welcome to the Norris Group Real Estate Podcast, a show committed to bringing you insights from thought leaders shaping the real estate industry. In each episode, we'll dive into conversations with industry experts and local insiders, all aimed at helping you thrive in an ever-changing real estate market, continuing the legacy that Bruce Norris created, sharing valuable knowledge, and empowering you on your real estate journey. Whether you're a seasoned pro or a newcomer, this is your go-to source for insider tips, market trends, and success strategies. Here's your host, Craig Evans.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Norris Group Real Estate Podcast. I am your host, Joey Romero. Today's guest is a realtor here in the Inland Empire, Sarah Ayala, broker associate and director of talent and growth with Tower Agency. Starting out in 2015, she built her career on one simple but powerful foundation: kindness, confidence, and an unwavering commitment to service. She specializes in first-time home buyers and sellers and has guided countless families through one of the biggest milestones of their lives. Whether it's buying, selling, or investing, Sarah's mission is the same: to make your real estate dreams a reality. Sarah holds a California broker's license and a BA in business administration from Cal State San Bernardino. Let's welcome Sarah. Sarah, we're going to jump right in. Let's get into your backstory. Now, I've known Brent for almost 20 years now, so I try to get the scoop from him about. I said, give me the dirt, give me the juicy stuff, and he wouldn't. He's like, no, I got nothing but good things to say. So now he did tell me that you weren't always in real estate. So what were you doing before real estate, and how did you jump into real estate?
Yeah, funny enough. So I went to college. I went to Cal State San Bernardino. I got my degree in human resource management, and my ultimate goal was to go into law. I wanted to be basically employment lawyer. I had a really, really great teacher who was a judge, and it totally sparked that interest in me. And so I was in the process of applying to law school when my mom, who had been a real estate agent then since 2006, she's still a real estate agent now. She was like, I think you would be really good at this. Try it, just try it. And I'm not kidding. Every time I saw her, she's like, please get your real estate license. So to be completely honest, I only got my license to stop my mom from asking me so many times to get my license. But as the saying goes, mom knows best. And I was in the process of applying to law school, got my license, and decided to just jump in and try it. And that very first home that I sold, it was just a done deal. I was like, this feels like a really good career move for me. And now I'm here.
Good thing she's not saying, hey, where's the baby?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? No, she's never been like that. I think those talks are going to start coming soon, though. She's starting to sprinkle them a little bit. Yeah.
Now, I understand your childhood home had something to do with why you actually, decided to go for it too. Could you tell us that story?
Yeah, no, I come from a really strong family background. Not very much. My dad is in education, still is in education. My parents were living on a teacher's salary with 4 kids and them too. And so, as you can imagine, I don't think they ever thought that homeownership would be something they could obtain, but they did it when I was 3 years old, and they still live in that very home till this day. And I would say that they just instilled in me the pride of homeownership, but also kind of grow where you're planted mentality. So they've stayed there the entire time of my whole life. They still live in that home. And that was so special to me, having a place to always come back to, having that solid foundation. I know it's 4 walls, but it's so much more than that. And the growth that we experienced as a family in that home, and a lot of sad things too. You just always have that one place. And I think that really created a good foundation for my career as well. So when I'm, approaching sellers, buyers, whatever it might be, there's just so much emotion tied to it, especially in residential real estate. And a lot of that emotion that I feel and know comes from my childhood home. So yes, it does have a lot to do with it.
All right. So take us back to when you first started. What were the first 12 months like for you?
Horrible, absolutely awful. I am so happy. So too, my parents, I love my family so much, but my parents really supported me. So I was 22 years old at the time. They let me live there. Let me move back in. So I had moved out and I wasn't making any money. I felt like, honestly, like kind of their loser oldest child who was like coming back home, had a college degree, wasn't doing much, but they really believed in me. And so they let me live basically in their office. I set up shop in their office in like a futon basically. And the first, I was like, I will be here for 3 months and then I'm out of here, guys. Like that is, yeah, it definitely didn't happen. I think I was there for like 3 more years. But the first 12 months were extremely difficult. I have never learned more about myself, more about sales, more about money management. I had a very slow start. So the first 6 months was all learning. And I made the very, I want to say dumb decision, but I'm glad I did it now. I had a very stable full time job and decided to quit that and go full into real estate because how hard can it be? Um, and I didn't sell anything for the first 6 months. Had my first deal, lived off that for the next like 3 months, then had another. It was a very slow start, but I'll be honest, I'm so grateful that it was because it taught me so much about the industry, so much about basics. Yeah, I don't want to go back to that first year, but definitely happy that I did it that way because it was helpful, but it was hard.
When did you realize this wasn't just a job, like this was the career that you were going to embark on?
Yeah, well, I did mention it the first time I gave keys, that first transaction, the first 6 months of my career, that was really game changing for me. But I think when I started feeling momentum was probably year 3 or 4 of like, okay, this is a career. I can do this. There feels like there's some stability here. Like I know there's going to be deals to come. But I think like any salesperson, I mean, I'm 11 years in now, and I've had a really bad first quarter this first year, and even I question myself. I think anybody in sales does, if they have a bad quarter. I've even questioned myself, like, is this a career? Like, how can I do this? But yeah, it is. I think everyone's stuck with me for the foreseeable future.
Well, we deal with mostly investors with the Norris Group, and a lot of the times when I'm talking to folks that own real estate investment clubs, I said, who are the most successful ones? And then they're like, well, the ones that don't quit.
Yeah, so true.
One of the things that you emphasize is kindness, confidence, and service. How does that show up in every transaction for you?
Yeah, I think, well, one, I think any salesperson needs to have a little bit of confidence. And I just have this, like, I don't know, this, I'm really happy I have it. I've had it since I was a baby, I think, but just a lot of positivity around very negative situations. Like, I have a feeling this is going to work out. And if it doesn't work out, then it wasn't meant to be, that kind of, mentality on kind of everything. I get a request for repair and I'm like, you know what, I think this is still going to work out, even though the buyer's asking for 40 grand or whatever it might be. But I think I always try to, the kindness aspect is put myself in whoever my client's shoes, the agent's shoes. I try to really approach every transaction that way, from a really just deep rooted place of kindness and confidence too, obviously, is huge. But yeah, that positivity, I don't know, I got it in me. Everything's gonna work out.
So what's the main driver of your business right now for you?
Social media. So really social media. I am a millennial, and the first thing I did when I got my real estate license is I created an Instagram for my real estate business that I had launched in 1 hour since passing the test. And I made every mistake you could possibly make on social media. I was posting Pinterest, like, inspiration, motivational quotes, nothing about real estate. I was all over the place. And then I noticed that kind of it was my sphere connected to my social media initially. So, my old coworkers from previous jobs had followed my real estate page, and saw that. And some of my first transactions were from ex coworkers, but I don't think they would have known I was in real estate if I hadn't been consistently posting about it on social media. So I think when that sparked, I was like, okay, let me double down on this. And now 80% of my business is coming from social media and 20% is from client referrals or past clients. So really, that's the huge driver of my business.
Okay, nice. Now, do you have a favorite platform, or are you across all of them? Tell us about how you choose where you're at.
Instagram. So funny enough, I have more followers on TikTok than I do Instagram, but I prioritize Instagram so much more because Instagram's just a little bit better business wise for connection, conversation, having like, you can, people post a little bit more of their lives, I think, on Instagram too. Stories and whatnot are a little bit more utilized. So Instagram has been that platform. I highly suggest that. For any business, I think Instagram's where it's at for that connection and brand recognition and yeah,
It sort of gives you that balance between business and personal.
totally. Yeah, absolutely. And I tell most people this. I think that Instagram is ever changing business wise, but a lot of people want to see more of the personal than they do the business. I think I spend more time sharing what I'm doing on the day to day, out showing this property, doing this, and a little less about this is what a residential purchase agreement is, or explaining that because they want to see a little bit more of that. So I've been honestly doing a little bit more of like 60-40, so 60% personal and 40% business. And it's really changed my business and obtaining business over these last few years.
Well, the more variety you give it to, the more the algorithms are going to like you too. So,
Totally, yeah.
uh, yeah, because I was watching some of your reels, and I actually one of my other I run the Norris Creative Fund's Instagram, and so we're connected there. So I see a lot of your interaction through that.
Awesome.
And so what I the one that stuck out to me was like dating ideas in the
Yeah, date night ideas. Yeah.
yeah. So
And
now,
that's
so what content do you see converts the most for you? Is it the reels? Is it the infographics? Is it like what do you see the
yeah.
best results from?
Great question. My stories, my Instagram stories. Reels are great. I always tell reels are great too. They're great for going viral, getting more followers, but connection and creating like conversation and closing on a lead or getting a lead stories. People are swiping up in stories, asking questions, and that's where I'm creating the most conversations and getting the most leads.
Now, one of the things that you're not just posting, since I do follow you, you're in my DMs. What's up with
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
So now that's a strategy, right? So
Totally.
you send a lot of your updates. How did that start, and what made you make that decision to go ahead and start doing that?
Yeah, so I created a channel on my page first. So I did that because I just post out updates there, and that goes directly into DMs. And I did that because there's a very, very small percentage of my following that wants analytics data, what's going on. And they can all get that from that Instagram channel, and that gets sent directly to your DMs, whoever is subscribed to that channel. And then I've on my reels, and if anyone comments or asks questions, and it could be keywords or asking a specific question, I've set up ManyChat. ManyChat's really awesome. So that connects directly to their DMs, and I can send them just a pre written out, description, whatever they might be asking. It could be a link to the information. It could be a link to a house, or it could be a link to a consultation with me. That gets sent to the DMs also. But I've had a really strategic way of connecting with my following too. And it's not just business related. Like, I want to know what bread you're eating and you posted. Like, I want to know what your favorite coffee shop is. Like, if something looks good on your page, I'm going to interact with you on that sense too. So,
If you want to
yeah.
sound authentic, you got to kind of be
You
authentic, right?
do. You absolutely do. Yeah. And it's not really a strategy. It's generally like my Instagram page is my personal business. It's all of it. And so I may be showing up in your DMs as Riverside Realtor Sarah Ayala, but it's very much Sarah Ayala interacting with you and, curious about what you're eating or whatever it might be.
So, have any of these DMs turned into deals?
Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of them have. A
What's
lot
your
of them.
favorite one?
So I think one of my favorite ones, oh, I love this story. So I had gotten a phone call from just a random stranger. He was Stan. He was so nice, him and his wife, the sweet, probably one of my favorite transactions I've ever done. And he's like, I have been following you since I think he said like 2017. And he's like, I haven't liked anything, commented on anything, DM'd you, nothing. Like, I have no interaction with you, but I've been watching everything you do, and I would love for you to sell our house in Eastvale or Corona. And we want to, or sorry, they were in San Bernardino at the time, and they bought in Eastvale. So please come sell our house in San Bernardino and, sell us this home in Eastvale. And I thought that stood out so much to me because you have no idea who you're speaking to. Like a lot of times you're just talking to a blank screen. You don't know who's interacting. And I call them like blind supporters, right? Like they watch everything you do, they see you showing up, they just don't necessarily interact. And that was probably my favorite and most reassuring that, like, okay, what I'm doing is working here. And yeah, that's probably one of my favorite stories.
So now, if an agent is doing some of these things that you're doing, what's the one thing that you would recommend that they do not do when they're sending these DMs?
Yeah, DM specifically, please do not, oh gosh, I hate this term, but I want to use it right now. Commission breath is really, prominent, mostly in open houses. So we like to have
I've never heard Brett say that one.
I know. I'm going to use it right now. But I think it can be also translated in DMs, right? Like, okay, if someone's not responding back to you, please don't message them a fifth, seventh, eighth, 10th time. I think that's a quick way to get blocked and maybe like lose some credibility as a real estate agent. DMs shouldn't be for continuous follow up. I think they should be for continuous value. So if they asked a question about a property, let's just call it like a Spanish style home, and you see one that also is a Spanish style home that you're like, ooh, maybe I can connect them with this one also. Send them over the link. Hey, just thought about you because you liked this home. This home just got listed. Like to send this over. Or if you have something really great to share about interest rates or something like that, I think value is more important than, hey, are you thinking of selling? Are you thinking of buying? I think a value piece needs to be added to whatever you're DMing.
Sure. All right. Well, let's talk about the investor side a little bit.
Yeah.
How much of your business does come from investors? Do you work with investors at all?
So funny enough, not a lot of my business comes from investors. What I do get though is a lot of distressed properties, those connection calls from my childhood best friend or whatever it might be. That's one of the ones I sold, her grandma's house that was in distress and they needed to offload it. And so those are mainly listings that I'm receiving. Investment side, and I'm excited. We have been starting to see some of the millennials and the people who are, my age demographic starting to be curious about investing. So we're starting to enter that market, but a very small percentage of my business has been coming from investing.
The ones that you have worked with, what do they expect from realtors?
Yeah, I think transparency. So transparency is huge. And I think that's where the emotional connection that I have, I know you mentioned, confidence, kindness and that and whatnot. I think that has been huge with some of these investment properties, the ones that are approaching me almost in a sense of like embarrassment, maybe, from the state of their property or whatever it might be, or not knowing which next steps to take. Education is huge and compassion has been second to that. And options. Everyone wants options.
Okay, so what does a strong agent investor relationship look like?
Yeah, I think for me, especially because I'm probably your perfect client, I think it's education. Like, I want to be educated on the process. I want to know options. I want to know what information I should be sharing. I want to know what you can provide, how we can partner. So education is huge. I get probably about, this is dramatic, but 80 phone calls a week from investors and investment groups and people like wanting to somehow connect and create, business. And a lot of that, they're missing the big piece of that value add, right? It's more like, hey, do you got anything for us? Do you got anything for us? How can we help you? How can we help you? And it's not very much like, hey, here's a resource for you, or especially for me, who's kind of green in that area. I have no idea. I think I'd be more inclined to partnership if someone was providing a sense of value. That would be huge.
Well, that's going to do it for part one of our interview with Sarah Ayala, broker associate with Tower Agency in Riverside, California. Tune in next week for part two.
For more information on hard money loans, trust deed investing, and upcoming events with the Norris Group, check out thenorrisgroup.com. For more information on passive investing through the DBL Capital Real Estate Investment Fund, please visit dblcapital.com.
The Norris Group originates and services loans in California and Florida under the California DRE license 01219911, Florida Mortgage Lender license 1577, and NMLS license 1623669. For more information on hard money lending, go to thenorrisgroup.com and click the hard money tab.